Oh, how to cook different things.
All right, clearly I'm the more benefactor in that particular realm here. What else? Absolutely.
Repeat it. Barb.
Oh, say it louder.
You can be unapologetically yourself.
Yep.
You can just be yourself.
Authentically yourself.
Forgiving but also strong, not like a pushover kind of like.
Right.
Forgiving but not forgiving. That's a good word.
Sorry.
Well, I was going to say the give and take in a relationship, because you're going to have to be giving up some things you don't want to because you look personal harm. Sacrifice, basically.
Remember now, with marriage, the old question is, what's harder, the vocation of priesthood or the vocation of marriage? What's harder?
They're both hard.
They're both hard. In marriage, you got two people you can blame it on. And in the vocation of priesthood, really, if there's something happens, it's really the priest's fault, right? Me, I can blame him, he can blame me, or I can blame myself, right? And so that forgiveness is absolutely paramount to marriage and to relationship.
You can be vulnerable with them.
Vulnerable. That's a great word, vulnerable. In this culture, we often hear the word intimate, intimacy. And in this culture, they tend to, what are they talking about when they say, have you been intimate? What are they talking about?
Sex.
Right. But I would propose to you that it's something different. Some wise person, not myself, said intimacy, to think about it this way, into me, see. And that requires vulnerability. Vulnerability. Do you open up your heart? And one thing to be very cautious of is that sometimes we can be too vulnerable too soon and share too much of ourselves with someone that we really haven't built a relationship with. And what that can give you is the illusion of a false intimacy where one doesn't exist. And so to be careful what you share, especially as you begin to say, you know what, maybe I can see a life with him, is to take your time. And not to throw out a bunch of your deepest secrets right outside the chute. I mean, to just really take your time. Because you have the rest of your life if this in fact is the person. So intimacy is not sex. It's not sex. It's a way to be transparent with one another, to share your deepest self. Deacon James Keating says it this way, is that when a married couple, is intimate in being that vulnerability and sharing their deepest desires in their heart, it's, Dr. Edward Tree actually says this, and I love this analogy, is that you're literally taking out your heart, not literally, you know, physically, what's the word? All right, so you take out your heart and you're saying to him, I give you my most priceless possession. My most priceless possession. Is that our most priceless possession? I mean, really, is it? Our heart, right? It's us. I give you this, my most priceless possession, and I'm going to entrust it to you. And in a marriage, that is really what's going on, is that this transfer of hearts. And that you're saying that I entrust my most priceless possession with you. I can be myself. I can be authentic. I can be genuine. No masks, no games, no gimmicks. I can be me with you, and you can be you with me. And there's a great relief in that, isn't there? You have friendships where you can just be like wacky doodle with somebody, and they're not going to judge you, right? Or serious, and they're not going to and you know. And so we recognize that the male and female are different, right? Anybody else recognize that?
Well, you know what Mark just said, it kind of goes for guys too. But for guys, you know, it's a little harder for us guys to do that. We have 3 sons. Our oldest one is getting married in May. And I've talked to either their wives or his fiance, and they said they knew by the 2nd or 3rd date that this was the one they wanted to share their lives with. For us guys, 10, 12, 15 dates. Then we're afraid to even take that step forward. And for me, with Barb, I just asked the Lord. I said, you know, He's not going to get up there and slap you upside the head and say, do it. He's not going to do that. He's going to offer you subtle hints. He's going to show you the way. He's going to have you walk down to that store and buy that diamond. No, that's not He's just going to have that show you too how when you start talking, as you continue to talk and grow and get to know each other more and more, like Barb said, you feel more comfortable just opening up with that person. You feel like just opening up your heart, and you're not afraid to tell them anything. Trust me, we've all done things we're ashamed of. But if you're sharing those with the one you love, they'll accept for who you are. It's a two-way street on that. And don't be afraid to do that.
One of the things that we do on the very first night of that 4-part class, when the couples are just meeting each other for the first time, not meeting each other, meeting the other couples that are there, we might ask them to work together. We said, what are your hopes and your fears? What are your hopes and your fears for your marriage? And it's very interesting what they put. And it's a lot of common things. And let me ask you what some of your hopes and fears might be for marriage, and then we'll see how your hopes and fears might line up with theirs. What are some things that you might be afraid of in marriage? What are you afraid of?
Raising children. Property. I'm not raising
I'm convinced that God is good because they start off as a little infant and not as a teenager. You are looking at 2 survivors, if you will. We're a little crazier, little worn for the wear. These are 2 survivors of 5 kids under 7. What's so crazy?
And 5 teenagers.
And 5 teenagers.
And we can still stand.
You can do it. You can do it, right? And what I would like to remind the parents of is that the good work that you do, when we talk about raising them right? Not saying you're on your own, kiddo. The good work that you do when they're little, when you are their parent, the one thing I just want, if you can walk away with anything here, is kids don't need more friends. They don't need more friends. They need parents. They have plenty of friends. But they need parents to parent, right? And the work of parenting is hard work. Just like being a student is hard work. Just like preparing for marriage is hard work. Anything in life is hard work. But when together, you've made that decision to bring new life, that your love, you made this, you have no one to blame but yourselves. You made this, and God blessed this and gave you this great walking, screaming, pooping, crying love. And the good news about that is not only marriage is about making saints. Right? Marriage is about making saints, because marriage is about also death. Why do I say that? Death. Because it's learning to die to my own selfishness, my own selfish desires, right? And to put somebody else before me. And we have the greatest example for excellence of what love looks like. Because this is what love looks like, right? Love hurts. And so your kids, if your spouse hasn't made you a saint, I can promise you, your children will. But the good news is, by the grace of God, you will, for us, I realize I've never prayed harder in my life than when I had teenagers and young adults. But it's the greatest beautiful thing to have seen that all that hard work and prayer and discipline and being the bad guy. I used to tell them, I'm the one with the black pointy hat. And so they came to turn out to be 5 amazing young adults. We're so proud of them. We're so proud of them. So anything in life that you're willing to work for, work together for, is a beautiful thing. So good thing on marriage and kids. What else? What are you afraid of? so that when the honeymoon phase ends, that the marriage could end, right? That's why we have really good prep. That's why we have really good prep. In this diocese of Phoenix, Bishop, about 8 years now, isn't it? He ramped up the prep, and he's only one of a handful of dioceses and archdioceses in the entire country that has the marriage prep that we have. And after dealing with, like I said, all the couples that I have, it's the most beautiful gift that we give to you, the prep. And the prep is something you get, it's like a retreat time together to be able to experience and to learn what marriage is and what love demands. And so by the time you're ready to walk down the aisle, that disillusionment, you'll understand deeper. And to remember that perfect love casts out fear, right? Right? And so, but that is, that can be a fear that you can worry about, right? What else? Sorry. That's pretty good. 3 years. Awesome. Right? And marriage is not something to be feared. It's not something to be feared.